Should we keep Red Bull in our F1 fantasy team? Hi, I'm Jay, and this is my F1 fantasy team for the Spanish Grand Prix. Let's get into it. Right guys, so this is my team for the Spanish Grand Prix, and in terms of the question, should we keep Red Bull in our team? I'm going to say no. So you can see that I've brought Max in for Lando, but traded Red Bull for McLaren. And the reason I've done that is because of Sergio Perez. Started the season really well, 31 points in Bahrain, 31 points in Saudi Arabia, 40 points in China, but since Imola, his form has really dipped. He was unlucky to have that crash in Monaco with the Hasses, because that wasn't, well, I think it was half and half really in that incident. But that said, I'm just not convinced with his current form that it's worth taking that risk of keeping the Red Bull constructor. Not only that, but due to the rear wing incident, the damaged rear wing, he's also been hit with a 3-place grid penalty for the Spanish Grand Prix. So that's going to affect him as well. I'll try and put a link in the description to the article. So yeah, my answer is no, I don't think it's worth keeping Red Bull for the time being. But let's look at the rest of the team. So in order to bring Max in for Lando and McLaren for Red Bull, I had to sacrifice Zhou Guanyu, and the only driver I could afford was Logan Sargent. I'm not expecting much from Logan, to be honest. This was just more of I had no choice, basically. He was the only driver I could afford. So I'm sort of not discounting him, but my focus is on Max, the two Hasses, Yuki, McLaren and Ferrari. And talking of Ferrari, again, I know they had a bad weekend in Canada. You know, should have used the fresh softs for qualifying. Then Leclerc had the engine issue, Sainz had that spin. But I do think it was a one-off, and I do think they're going to come back strong in Spain. I mean, it's Carlos's home Grand Prix. They tend to do well in Spain. And yeah, I think they will bounce back. I think it was just a one-off. Otherwise, Yuki, it's his qualifying form, which is why I'm sticking with Yuki. His qualifying's been pretty good lately, plus he also got a couple of overtakes. Unfortunately, he had the spin in Canada, otherwise would have got some points, but unfortunately he had that spin, which meant he dropped down the rankings, so he lost race positions. So I got 0 points, so it evened itself out. But I just think it was a bit unlucky. But I do think he'll do well in Spain. So I'm keeping faith with him. I'm hoping he can get in the top 10 for qualifying. And my usual to the Hasses, K-Mag and Nico. And that is due to their overtaking. Again, still in the top 5. In fact, they're in the top 3 with Lance Stroll split into 2. So they're like my little overtakes team within my team, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my team for the Spanish Grand Prix. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's worth keeping Red Bull in your team, or do you think it's the right thing to do to remove them for the time being? So let's look at the league standings. So I have gone up to 34,410, so about 18,000 places, I think, after the disaster in Monaco, which really dropped me down to around like 52,000. So it's a positive. We're going up again, so that's good. We're about 800 points from the top. But either way, as long as we're going up, it's good news. And in the Papaya Stealth Open, I actually came second. I didn't come last for once in my own league. Unfortunately, the Raven Racing had a terrible time with Ferrari and Leclerc, which was very unfortunate, otherwise it would have been really strong. And Verstappen came top, beating me by, what's that, like 3 points. With a pretty solid team, to be fair. But either way, I'm happy that I just didn't come last in my league for once. Again, I'll put the pin in the video if you want to join. It's just for a bit of a giggle, a bit of bragging rights, and a bit of fun. So yeah. F1 Fantasy team aside, just to let you know that I'm working on one more video for FerLANDO, my F1 Manager 23 career playthrough with Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris. I'll hopefully have that for you real soon. In the last video we were fighting Max for the Drivers' Championship with Lando. Since then I've done the 2025 season off camera because it was a rebuild season, so signing some new staff members and rebuilding the car from scratch. We ended up P3, which was not our target, and we did struggle a little, but I'm happy to say that we got through it and it's paying off, because in season 4, the 2026 season, things are going really well. We're currently, at the time of this recording, the top of both the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship, and so hopefully I'll have the video for you real soon where we'll hopefully win both of those championships. At the moment we're fighting Red Bull, and Mercedes have been fighting a little bit, but it's mainly between us and Red Bull at the moment. And in the Drivers' Championship it's mainly between Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. So it's going really well, and I'll hopefully have that for you real soon, before the release of F1 Manager 24. Finally guys, just something a little personal for me. It's June, which means it's MyAware month, raising awareness of Myasthenia Gravis, translated as muscle weakness greatly. It's a rare autoimmune neuromuscular junction disease. The gist of it is it's a lifelong rare condition where a chemical in the muscle's nerve junction called acetylcholine is destroyed and blocked by the body's immune system, so it causes muscle weakness. The main muscles that are affected are usually around the eyes, the face, the throat, the chest, the arms and the legs. So symptoms can vary from as simple as ocular myasthenia, which is like droopy eyelids and double vision, to generalized myasthenia, which is what I have, where your whole body is affected. So from chewing, from facial expressions, from speech at sometimes. For me it's mainly my legs that I feel it. It's mainly in my legs that I feel it, for me personally. But your arms, I have to use a walking stick now. So, but yeah, the general gist of it is that. But also another thing linked to Myasthenia Gravis is something called a thymoma, which is a tumour of the thymus gland. Now usually I believe this is small enough to be removed with keyhole surgery. Unfortunately for me, I was a rare case where my thymoma was unusually large, so I ended up having a forced sternotomy thymectomy, and in my case was a rare case, so I actually ended up in intensive care, and I did a video talking about that last year if you want to check it out. But otherwise, that aside, it's like I say, it's a rare condition. It doesn't affect many people, but it is a lifelong condition, so it does mean like lifelong medication and like checkups and stuff like that. If you want to find out more about Myasthenia Gravis, then there's a website in the UK called myaware.org, and there is one in America called myasthenia.org, which is for the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of America. So I'll put links in the descriptions for both those websites if you want to check that out, and there's a donation page if you want to donate, which will mean a lot to us. So that's it from me for this video guys. If you enjoyed the video, then please do give it a like, and if you want to follow my team along this season, then please hit the subscribe button and help support the channel to help it grow. Really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on my team for the Spanish Grand Prix, and good luck for the Spanish Grand Prix. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.